Good morning, everyone. It's Tess. Happy Sunday. And today is tip 67. And I'm going to talk about overcoming perception issues. And I've been spending some time this past hour or so trying to research this, but the articles that I found out there are predominantly related to adolescents and perception issues with whether they're underweight, overweight, or normal weight. And what I wanted to try to find out is overcoming perception issues as you lose weight, because what happened to me is I've started going through clothes and anything that, like I don't need anymore to get rid of, and kind of spring cleaning house, getting myself ready for the next stages of life. And I bought a pair of pants. All of us who've had weight loss surgery know that you go through that first year of losing a lot of weight. And as you lose a lot of weight, you're buying clothes. It's like stages, whether you're going to secondhand shops, but you have to find clothes because you're out of your clothes very, very quickly. And at one point during this journey, I bought a pair of pants or shorts, like Bermuda shorts that rolled up. And I liked them because they were going to cover most of the leg, because we all know our skin starts to get loose in some areas if you lose a lot of weight. And I'm 155 pounds down, so there's going to be loose skin. And I bought these shorts, and the reason I bought them is they were a lot smaller, but I bought them because they were on sale, and it was a really, really good sale, and they didn't have a size that I was in at that time. So I've had those shorts for a year, 2 years, something like that, and I've always looked at them as something that one day I would get into. Well, as I was looking at my shorts, I'm kind of like I'm at a funky stage again. I've lost 35 plus pounds. I tend to wear my clothes bigger. So I have a lot of really big clothes that maybe don't want to stay up. And then I have like these that are too small. And I thought I'm going to have to buy again. And it kind of sucks because I'm still working on this journey. And I picked up the shorts and pulled them out just kind of as a reminder. And then I picked up a pair of sweatpants that I wore yesterday. And I'm like, these kind of look like there's not a big difference in the size. So I kind of held them up to each other. And I'm like, there really isn't a big difference in the size of these sweatpants I was wearing yesterday and these shorts. And I still in my head thought, I can't put these on. There's no possible way. I'm not going to get them up past my knees. I can't do this. So finally, I'm like, just try. If you only get them up to your knees, at least then you got an idea of what size you need to wear. Because I don't know what size I am. And I know my size would be different if I didn't have excess skin too, but I thought I just got to try them on. Well, I tried them on and I got them all the way up, and they're not like too tight, and they're not, would I want to wear them? No, I'd like to lose a few more pounds before I wear them, but could I get them on? Could I wear them like with a tunic top right now? Absolutely. Were they too tight to sit down in? No. So for all purposes, I probably wore stuff that looked exactly like they did on me today, pre-surgery, and there's nothing wrong. I can wear that size of clothing. So it blew me away, and it made me realize I still live in, I'm going to say it, fat brain, for a different reason than Doc V talks about, but he talks about fat filter. So that's a filter for me. I have a filter where I can't see who I look like now. And I thought, I want to do some research on this. Well, when I did the research, it's really predominantly talking about perception issues with teenagers. So I thought, well, how do I approach this differently to kind of try to recognize? And it kind of threw me back to something I talked about way back in early January, but it's worth a revisit right now. And it's how do we identify non-scale wins? So I thought, okay, this is how I'm going to have to start looking at it. What are things that can help me to see my weight loss that are not scale related? So I was looking up articles that way, and I found some articles. Hindawi, Hindawi, had weight perception, but it mainly determined teenagers. And then Daily Burn was another article. But I was able to gather a list of items that are non-surgical wins that we can use to kind of try to help our brain recognize our successes, because we really do recognize when we're failing, but do we ever give ourselves credit when we're starting to win? So I have a list of about 14 things that will help you to identify weight loss without it being a scale win. So here's what I'm going to start to share, because I recognize this morning that realizing your weight loss wins is difficult. I held up those shorts this morning and truly did not think I would be able to get them up over my knees. I truly did not. And I could wear them. And I know that's an issue for a lot of us. And we need to recognize those wins, because we're the first ones to criticize ourselves because we ate one thing too much, but we don't recognize when we're winning at the journey. So I was able to accumulate a list of 14 items that are non-surgical wins. These are all things we've probably heard before, but I thought it was a great reminder as we're going into a new season and getting ready to shift our clothes. And the first one that they recommended was to track a healthy habit. And I think this is a good one in that a lot of us have joined on with Dr. V's challenge, or we're trying to eat healthier. And it says track a healthy habit. Like, for a lot of us that are eating green smoothies, can you track and say, oh, hey, 6 months ago, I ate no green smoothies, and now I eat one green smoothie a day for 5 days a week, or 6 days a week, or 7 days a week. That's a healthy habit. Are you incorporating a vegetable in every meal? That's a healthy habit. Have you gotten rid of, and I'm going to even try to think of it positively. What are the positive things you're going to do? Because too often we go to negative. I am not drinking dairy anymore. That's a positive thing. I am not having sweeteners anymore. That's a positive thing. So if we're tracking those healthy habits forward, because I'm going to try to stop focusing on, I didn't eat cookies anymore. I'm going to try to keep remembering the positive, because I want to live in a positive place. So I'm trying to shift through the meditation and through the journaling. I'm trying to make my thoughts positive. And even in that, I want to recognize my positive, healthy habits, not recognize my negative ones. So I'm going to kind of shift that way, because for me, that I find that helpful in keeping my attitude and my focus positive. So track a healthy habit. Are you adding a veggie per meal? Are you having a green smoothie every day of the week? And even if it's not every day, how many days do you have now? And in a week, 2 weeks, a month, 6 months, how many are having then? Progress photos. I think that's a great thing. I love to look at those because I don't see myself as where I am now. And I think many of us have that issue. Skin. And this is an interesting one too, because I don't recognize it, but I've had friends comment on my skin being different since I've been doing these lives. And I don't see it, but if others see it, then that can make me feel better. Activity assessment. This is kind of a, like, are we walking a certain number of days a week? Are we walking a certain number of steps a week? Are we walking a certain number of hours a week? So you can do it that way, just to make sure that you're increasing the amount of time that you're walking. So that's one way of looking at physical activity as a way that you've improved yourself. The other way is what they call a benchmark challenge. And this benchmark challenge is a way of like identifying strength, which means like how many squats can you do in 2 minutes? How many lunges can you do in 2 minutes? How many burpees can you do in 2 minutes? How many push-ups can you do in 2 minutes? So the challenge benchmark is like a timed benchmark, so you can see how you've improved fitness-wise, like strength. Another area is try on old clothes, which that's what hit me this morning. I held up a pair of shorts that I truly believed I couldn't get past my knees, and I got them on, no problem. I'd like to lose a few more pounds so that they're looser fitting, but I got them on, and I truly did not think they would come above my knee. Oh, this is a good one too, sit and rise. When I was at my heaviest, standing up put a lot of pain on my knees. When I read this morning, I'm like, oh, that's true. I can stand up and sit down without any pain on my knees anymore. So weight has a huge impact on your joints. So recognize that. That's a win on this journey. They said set a scary goal, and I'm going to tell you my scary goal the first time I lost over 100 pounds. The first time I lost over 100 pounds, I was at 116 pounds lost, and I was in a gym working out, and I'd work out every single day. And there was a group of people that rode in what we call the WHAM, which is the Wish-A-Mile. It's a Make-A-Wish bicycle ride where you ride 300 miles on a bicycle in 3 days. And somebody said they were going to do it, and me, I didn't even own a street bike at that time. And I'm like, I'm in. So I committed to, signed up for, and paid for this big event. And it was like, you had to raise like $800. $900, and this was probably over 10 years ago. And I'm like, signed up for it. I don't even have a bike, and I did it. I did it. So that was like that crazy challenge that I did. And I still to this day, I can remember when I completed that bike ride, I carried that medal in my pocket for 30 days. And if some poor soul stopped, they heard the story because it was such an amazing challenge. I mean, even my doctors were happy for me. Now, there were some medical issues after that they said I probably shouldn't have done it. But you know what? It doesn't matter because I did it. The other thing is ask a friend. When we don't recognize our weight losses, sometimes we need to ask a friend because they may see something that we don't see. Work out with a heart rate monitor. This is a good one too. In the first time that I lost over 100 pounds, I was working with a personal trainer and we were doing like a testing on a treadmill one day. And he looked at me and he says, so when did that happen? And I go, when did what happen? And he said, your heart rate's not going up. And I go, yeah, I know. I noticed that about a week ago. I said, I work out harder than I've worked out before. I can get to higher speeds, but my heart rate won't go up. And he goes, well, I have some good news and I have some bad news. And I'm like, what's that? And he said, the good news is that you've increased fitness levels. The bad news is you're going to have to work harder to get your heart rate up to burn more calories. And I'm like, oh, win-lose. But it's truly a win-win because my heart was conditioned better. If there's ever a heart attack, having my heart conditioned better gives me a better chance of recovery. The next thing was assess sleep. Is your sleep better? That's a great way to have a non-surgical win. I think because as we're heavier, sleep apnea seems to be common with a lot of people the heavier you get. So if your sleep is getting better, maybe there's less weight that's causing you problems. I'm not medical, but you can evaluate that. That's a way to find out if you're winning. Body measurements, absolutely, because if we're not seeing it, maybe the scale and the measurements and the clothes will help. Shoe size. I found my shoe size decreased probably at this point 2 sizes since I've lost 150 pounds. And your feet have to carry your body, so I guess it makes sense that they would get bigger as you get bigger. Then the other things that kind of came up were like seatbelt extenders. Do you need them anymore? And I remembered a story from losing weight too, and this was pre-COVID. I had to go on a business trip. And when I came back from the business trip, I had somebody coming to pick me up at the airport. And I'm standing waiting for them, and I see them drive past me. And I get on the cell phone, and I'm like, what are you doing? And they're like, well, you're not out here. And I'm like, you just passed me. And what had happened is I had lost so much weight that it was night. They didn't recognize my shadow. They didn't know it was me. So they had to make the loop around, come back and pick me up. But I think that what I've realized this morning, because I had a pair of shorts that I swear I did not think would go past my knees, that I completely got on, we have perception issues. We don't recognize our weight loss wins. So the greatest gift we can give ourselves, I was trying to look up scientific articles about it, but there really weren't any. They're really focused right now on adolescents in that kind of studying. But I did find non-surgical victories, non-surgical ways to identify your weight loss success. And just to go through the list kind of quickly again before I close off for the day. Track a healthy habit, meaning are you eating a veggie with every meal or 2 veggies with every meal? Have you made progress in that? Are you eating a green smoothie every day or more time than you did a month ago? Have you done something healthier in your food choices? So use that as one way to identify success on this journey. Another one is progress photos. A third one is check your skin, because you'll have a natural glow as you fuel your body better and exercise your body better. Activity assessment, this was just a simple one. Monitor how long you're walking a day, monitor how many steps you're taking a day. Another item they come up with was a benchmark challenge physical test, and that would simply be how many squats can you do in 2 minutes now to what you could do a month ago? How many burpees, how many push-ups, how fast can you run? How far can you run in 2 minutes compared to a month ago? So this is more of a physical challenge time test, where the previous one was just about assessment of activity, like number of hours in a day. This one, try on old clothes, because that's what hit me this morning. I swear I did not think I could get those shorts up past my knee. I truly did not think that. So try on old clothes. Don't assume that your eyes know what you're looking at, because we lose track. Sit and rise, that one was important. I can remember how painful it was on my knees, and I didn't recognize that it wasn't painful anymore until I actually saw this article this morning. Then the scary goal, like I said, I actually did a wham. Hi, Ying. Oh, hi, Cher. Hi, Ying. So do a scary goal, like I did that Make-A-Wish 300-mile bike ride to raise money for charity. That was a scary goal. I accomplished it, and man, was that a sense of accomplishment. Ask a friend if they recognize changes in you. Assess your sleep. Your sleep will get better. Body measurements, that's a great key, because our mind is still stuck in our old body. And shoe size, I found my shoe size has changed to about 2 since I've lost the weight. And then things like seatbelt extenders. Because what it kind of made me think about is, if I was having bad choices, or if my mind was going to a bad place, or if I had looked at those shorts and just decided in my head that they didn't fit and allowed myself to fall into a place of feeling like I failed, would it have made my day different today? Would I have been tempted by and made a bad food choice or done something to hurt my health because my head still thought that I hadn't succeeded when my body had succeeded? I wonder how many times in the past, because I said that's why I weigh myself every day. I can't be emotional about that weigh-in, because that weigh-in is simply a tool to monitor my progress. But it made me realize today that too often my mind has blocked me. Hi, Cher. My mind has blocked me when my body is succeeding. So make sure that you don't allow your mind to be the only tool that you're using to identify your success. It shocked me today. I really, truly thought that I would not be able to get those shorts up past my knee. So remember, we can't trust our mind. It doesn't always recognize our success. For so long, so many of us have had problems with our weight that we're not seeing the success. And I think it would be so tragic if we started going down the wrong path in this journey because we don't recognize that we are succeeding. And I think, honestly, in my case, I have done that, because my mind, I've always trusted my mind to be 100% on, and you know what? It isn't always. I have to trust and look for other tools to recognize my success, so that when I start to recognize a possibility of a stumble, I can catch myself before I fall. We're all here to catch each other, so we don't allow ourselves to fall. I hope that you guys have a beautiful, amazing day. And remember, don't always trust this to tell you you're succeeding. Look for one of those other non-surgical wins. I know in the past, I've allowed myself to stumble without even recognizing a success. And we don't ever want to lose this journey because we had a wrong perception. Have a beautiful Sunday. I can see the beginnings of the sun rising, the little orange in the sky. I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you for listening, and I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.